Dear brown skin girls, in all your hues and shades, do you not know that the sun makes love to your skin? Do you not know that the soil has reflected itself in you? You are a daughter of the earth. Gold makes love to your skin, releasing your inner glow. Your genuine leather skin defies age and gravity, refusing to crack. Nothing real can be threatened. And oh, they have tried. And yet here you are. Here your skin is, dark or light, still standing in its brownness, still real. Dear brown skin girls, put down the bleach and pick up the love, because like it or not, you are and will always be a beautiful, powerful, brown skin girl. So dare to be brave in your skin.
She said she really grew up poor like me. Don't believe in nothing but the Almighty. Just a little jeans and a pure white tee. She never did forever be nobody wifey. So while I may not pretty boy, your heart is a miss. Play it like a villain cause she caught in a wave. Tonight I am walking away. Lined up my mind on the grind, yeah. Tonight I might fall in love, depending on how you hold me. I'm glad that I'm calming down. Can't let no one come control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fighting but falling slowly. If ever you are in doubt, remember what mama told ya. Brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls. You're back against the world. I'll never trade you for anybody else. Singing brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls, the best thing in the world. I'll never trade you for anybody else. Pose like the trophy when Naomi's walking. She need an Oscar for that pretty dark skin. Pretty like Lupita when the camera's closing. Drip broke the levy when my Kelly's roll. I think tonight she might braid her braids. Melanin too dark to throw her shades. She minds her business and winds her waist. Go like 24K, okay. Tonight I might fall in love, depending on how you hold me. I'm glad that I'm calming down. Can't let no one come control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fighting but falling slowly. If ever you are in doubt, remember what mama told ya. Brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls. You're back against the world. I'll never trade you for anybody else. Saying brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls, the best thing in the world. I'll never trade you for anybody else. Have you looked in the mirror lately? Wish you could trade eyes with me, cause there's complexities in complexion, but your skin need glow like diamonds. Dig me like the earth you be giving birth. Took everything in life, baby, know your worth. I love everything about you, from your nappy curls to every single curve, your body natural. Same skin that was broken, be the same skin taking over. Most things out of focus view, but when you're in the room, they notice you, cause you're beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful.
Okay, hi ladies, thank you for joining me in this very interesting and topical issue. So as most of us know, the song Brown Skin Girl by Beyonce has brought a lot of conversation about colorism. So I'm bringing it more to a South African context and not just only talking about it as a global phenomenon. I have these ladies, so I'd like you guys to introduce yourself, and yeah, we can start the side.
Hi, I am Phyllis Tole. Hi, I'm Bongi Sindane.
I'm Tando Kumalo.
Hi, I'm Kamela Kabakisa.
Candy Msekene.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys, what does beauty mean to you? 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 What does beau
That's intense.
Yeah.
I think beauty is whatever makes you feel good.
Yes.
That's it, and makes you feel good about yourself.
And I think when it translates, you can see, man. This person feels good. This person doesn't need you to validate them. They feel good. They're confident in what they're wearing, what they're saying, what they feel. They never feel like they have to fit into a specific box or align themselves with your definition of beauty.
Yeah.
It's their
So
definition.
It's a more personal thing.
It's a personal
And I
thing.
think it's more intrinsic than it is.
But don't you think it is a little bit shaped by society and their standards of beauty?
But then, what society is saying is society saying that we are beautiful? Like society is just saying, okay, this is for now what we're accepting, but it's not necessarily saying that you are beautiful because societal standards have always been more towards the white side. Eurocentric.
And like, what's interesting is that the changing beauty standards are always shaped by white women. It's like when white women begin to, accept something,
That's
we then
100%
move closer to that. So the Kim
100%.
Kardashians,
Exactly, and then all of a sudden it's okay to
I don't
ass.
necessarily think it's white women. I think that it is the media, and because the media is on their side.
So-
white men own the media, and white
Exactly.
men like
So I don't even think
so
exactly.
they push
They
the white
always
women
push
as
the white
narrative.
agenda,
Yeah.
and because we don't have
So-
that.
Yeah.
I think my next question is to you guys. When was your first encounter with colorism? Like, when did you first, like, sort of it dawn on you? And yeah.
Jeepers. I don't think maybe now it's the putting a word, like it's putting a word to the description.
But I don't know what it was.
Yes, we didn't know what it was growing up, and now that you go back and you're like, jeepers, this was actually what I was experiencing. I think I was in high school, and in the high school I went to, being dark was just not on. Like the boys would always go on about yellow
light
bones,
skin.
yes, and liking yellow bone girls. And I think I was having an argument with a guy in the class, and he said, "You dark, you're not even that pretty."
Yeah.
And that moment it was like, jeepers,
I first experienced it, funny enough. I mean, as a child, I was always, promoted for being lighter skinned. Like, oh, you look like you wash with milk, you use milk.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But I think it really dawned on me. Like, the first memory that I have was when I was in China, when I spent a few of my my years in China. And there was a girl from Korea who said to me that, I don't actually really like a lot of black people, but you're lighter skinned, so I think you're nicer. So she basically said, I can tolerate you as a black person because you're lighter than the rest, or than, typically what is seen to be lighter than most of the other black people.
Do you feel like being light skinned has also been like a disadvantage? Say, for example, someone has been hating on you because you're light, because that also happens, not necessarily at a disadvantage, but because you're at an advantage, they look at you like, oh, she's just a light skin girl. Obviously, she's not even that pretty because she's just light skin, like things like that.
Yeah.
I think
let's get to that, but I first want to hear like everyone's experiences first.
Okay.
But that's a good question. I think that should be the next. Yeah.
My first experience, I don't even. Well, okay, my sister, we're two girls in the house, it's just us two, and she's light skinned, and my mom was light skinned, and I remember my aunt being like, "How come you're the only black girl in the family?" And it made me realize, like, oh shit, my mom and my sister are light skinned. Is there something wrong with me? But you get over that and stuff. But just in high school, I don't think I've come across colorism, like people coming to me saying you are dark skinned, bullying like that. It's very subtle.
Okay.
It's very, you just get overlooked. It's not like I had bullying like where I'd cry myself to sleep.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, but also, I mean, within that, I think people think that in order for something to be oppressive, it has to be extreme.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Subtle.
Yeah. Candy?
I've experienced racism. I haven't experienced colorism, personally speaking.
That's good.
I come from a place where everyone is dark skinned.
Yeah.
Like it's never been a thing for us. If you're light skinned, you'll literally be the you mean the light skinned girl from town. So when I was
were you lighter than the rest?
I wasn't light skinned, but I was lighter. So I've never been like, I'm from Nepal. Everyone is dark skinned, you know. So I was never in that position whereby I'm advanced or I'm disadvantaged. I was just, you know. So, and I think when I came here, things were changing a little bit. You know, the light skin thing was phasing out slightly, but I can't claim that I've felt colorism without being disrespectful to anyone.
Yeah, that's honest. I think my first encounter with it, weirdly enough, was in varsity. We were in a tent. I know it sounds so crazy, but literally we were in a tent. I was with you guys, and you guys were speaking about how dark-skinned women are like looked at like in a bad way or whatever. And I was like, that is ludicrous. Like I was just like, what the hell are these people saying?
Like a lot of light-skinned girls are like, what are you talking about?
Literally, I was actually like, because I come from the most like blended family. Like my mom, and by blended I don't mean like we have white people, but I mean like it's like complexions, because like my mom and my dad are very light, like, and then I'm light, but I'm not like as light as my mom and my dad, and then my brother's like dark in complexion, my sister's dark in complexion, like my aunt is light, but my other aunt is dark. Like I don't know how to explain it. My grand is dark. Like there's so many
most black families.
It's so mixed that like literally it will never even occur to me that this was like a thing ever. So literally that was my first encounter.
I think just to add on, I feel like also like at home I never experienced that thing of being like, dark, because my dad is dark, my mom is just like lighter. Well, she's not like exceptionally light, but she's lighter than everyone else at home, and her side of the family has like the lighter people, and at home it was never a thing to say no, you dark, you know. In primary school I never experienced it, and once I got to high school I started realizing that no, man, something's up
I think my next question, building on Candy's question, is like how do you feel like your skin color has sort of shaped your reality or been a disadvantage or an advantage? How has it shaped the way you move in the world?
These are such great questions.
Thanks. Let's start this side.
Yeah, I should have just been a spectator. No, I think for me it's more like my blackness. I mean, there are moments whereby, say I'm bongi, and then a girl will be like, oh, your screen is so light skin, hook me up. And even before you get to know me or whatever, it's always like, oh, the lighter skinned girl, you know. So I think maybe like in the dating pool, it was a little bit like that, where like, oh, your lighter skinned friend, oh, you know, I mean, you're pretty, but you know, like your lighter skinned friend, you know, type of thing. But I also think just because of my own personality, I'm just like, go, you do your thing. I'm not. If all you can see is my skin color, then that's great, but clearly not the person for me.
Exactly.
So I think when it comes to like that part, like with dating and stuff, then it used to be like a thing. But I think now when you're like in your own skin, you're just like, I'm definitely into a nigga that looks at me black excellence and whatever, and just looking at me as a black woman, and instead of just saying, okay, you know what, you light skin, you dark skin, whatever. But then it used to be like a thing, and I think at first it was just like, really, you're literally like hate on me for whatever.
Just say
let me go and buy something that's a little bit more glowy skin and whatever, you know, type of thing. Where you'd be like, okay, you know what, let me take those glutathione pills just to make me glow a little bit, type of thing. And it's something where, as confident as I am, it was always a little bit like a, girl, maybe let me just make it a little bit lighter or whatever. And I don't want it to be like, oh, she's bleaching her skin, whatever. I just want a natural glow. But inside it comes from a place like a little bit of insecurity, like, oh, okay, so when I'm out, y'all don't even look at me. And even before you get to know me, it's just because of my skin color. Like for real.
What am I gonna say?
And it's not like you're not confident. We work on our body, work on this, work on our education. But there's always something that's like subliminal, you know. I like that guy, but that guy just wanted to fuck. Sorry, to sleep with me. 2 a.m. girl.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
why can't I be like, you know? And there was a little thing where it's like, okay, there is a little bit of colorism in there. Like, and I remember they'd always be like, and I think I went along with it because I'm like, y'all don't even like me anyway. I always be like a 2 a.m. girl, or you know, it's wife material, bonnie, your wife material, and you know, we'll chill, we'll hang type of thing. But it wasn't like that direct. So I think subliminally it started doing something. And this was, I mean, I'm from Limpopo, everyone is dark skinned, but in varsity, when the yellow bone thing was like a thing, I felt it at some point. I was just like, okay, let me see, how do I get glowy skin without bleaching my skin? It was there. It was there, and it did shape how I moved around. It did put a little bit of insecurity. But in terms of like maybe outside the dating pool, not as much.
But I think your personality stood out more, like it compensated.
Exactly,
for what you
compensate.
had.
But the thing is, I don't have to compensate.
You shouldn't have
That's the
to.
issue.
No,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
I think just with the compensation, I think I did exactly that.
Yeah.
The moment I realized, I think, you know, when you grow up, funny thing is when you grow up, you become very aware of the things that are going on, and you internalize them, and when one person says you're dark skinned, then everyone else regards you as you're dark skinned, you're not beautiful. And I took that, and I compensated in other ways. I just immersed myself in sports, education, you know, anything else that would, you know, make me look, well, help deviate from looking at me as this dark-skinned girl. Like, oh, she's intelligent. Describe me as intelligent. Describe me as funny. Describe me as a person who's active in sports. And I think for the longest time, I operated as the person who was an overachiever. Until I got to a point where I wanted to stop being that person. I just wanted to be me, accept me for me. So sometime in varsity, I then decided, you know what, it's time to just allow myself to be me, because if I keep on hanging on to what people say about me, their description, I'll never be able to fully love myself and fully discover who I am. And the moment, yes, as a person, and the moment I let go of that, I really didn't care what people said. You tell me that and I would go to bed and I'd wake up and it wouldn't affect me, because I've already given myself the opportunity to be like, I'm letting go. People won't have a hold over me, and what they say about me won't affect the way I see myself anymore.
Yeah,
That's a really great
wish I
place
had done it like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in varsity or whenever I felt a bit down about my complexion and how I look, I'm the type of person to like, okay, I'm gonna just eat my day away, or I'm just gonna eat my feelings away, instead of, I think it's good that you channeled your energy into something productive. Because I can just sleep all day. I can, you know, do nothing all day, not study all day, just because of how insecure I feel. And in the dating pool, definitely.
Whoa.
Definitely. I think the main, besides like going out with my light-skinned friends and oh my god.
How have you dealt with it now?
Yeah.
Hey,
Where do you think you are now?
I think now I'm more confident now, but I really don't know how to discern whether you like me for me, or if you, because I feel like when you're dark skinned, they have to, melanin queen, Nubian.
Because Lupita is like extremely dark, and it's like that we're gonna fantasize that, like
You must be
I had a conversation with my sister, and she was just talking about how like she wants to like be lighter and all of that stuff, and like considering like lightening products and all of that stuff. And I was like, what the hell, you know? Because for me, it was like I've always looked at dark-skinned women as so beautiful. Like literally, I kid you not, growing up, I was just like, dear God, like how do I become darker? Like I swear, because even with my foundation, I will buy a darker foundation to make my skin like warmer. I don't know how to
literally
explain
sleep
it.
in the sun.
Yes,
trying to get
but I feel like I look more beautiful when I'm like, and I've always even said like darker skinned women, I feel like their skin glows more and things things like that, but like I think like realizing for me how privileged like I've been and like not knowing it, and I think that's the thing about privilege. You just move through life and you're like, oh, like what are people saying? Like, you know, and it's like the same way white people will be like, oh no, but it's like you know, and I think for me where it's kind of like now become a thing of like, no, this is actually an important conversation to have is when I see like celebrities who are having these conversations and they have an impact on so many people and they are denying like their privilege or taking it very lightly. Like I will hear people say, oh, so what do you expect me to do? I mustn't be good, you know, like, oh, like people will say, oh, you're like justifying your, you know, how bad you are through the fact that I'm light.
And that's also like but that's also a bit of a bittersweet reality for a light-skinned person in that, you know, you are light-skinned, granted, and we accept the privileges. I accept the privileges. I've seen them. I've lived them. But also, when I'm great at something, don't deny my greatness or my talent. But because I am light-skinned and say you only got this opportunity because you're light-skinned, or you only good. She's not that good. She's just light-skinned. That's why people like her. You know, it's like Beyonce. It's like denying Beyonce's talent. And I'm not taking away the fact that Beyonce was privileged in that like she's light skinned and she appealed to people, and maybe that's also what helped her. It did help her. We can't deny the privilege, but I'm also not, I'm saying let's not take away from you know what you actually like.
But I think Wally's an amazing rapper. He's like, let me tell you one thing. My talent, T-Pain, let me tell you one thing, my talent is amazing. But I didn't get to where I was. An opportunity was given to another person because they appealed more. And I think we can't shy away from the fact that you are. They say that white privilege is in the fact that you haven't had a rough life. It's that your life wasn't made harder because you're white. Sometimes you guys might be talented just the same, but her life was harder and your life was easier because of that. And it does not mean that I can take anything away.
And I think also, the problem with like kind of these conversations of privilege is that people almost premise highlighting something that is an upper thing on you as an attack on how good you are. So if I say to you, yes, but people love you this much because you're light in complexion, and then you will then say, oh yeah, but like I work so hard, you can't negate that and all of that stuff. No one is negating that. No one is saying you don't work hard or whatever. But at the same time, it's funny how we're so willing to accept good things about ourselves and not bad things. Like, you know, it's like, and the privileges that we do have. For example, I'll make an example. White people, if I am in a boardroom, it's more likely that, and it has happened, that someone will speak to the white person more, right? In the workplace, people will train white people more. The white person becomes better at what they do. Starting off, potentially, we had the same potential. We were both really good. But because you have more opportunity, you've become way better at your craft. And I think privilege is not saying you shouldn't be where you are, but it's saying where you are, you need to start bringing up different people to be where you are as well, so that you can actually compete. Because right now you're not competing.
Exactly.
You're not.
By yourself.
You're by yourself. And yes, you're good. Yes, you're good. But how great are you? Like if we can put a Kerry Washington and a Viola Davis and say we can compare now.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Has it started? Are we going to edit that part out?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you say the question again?
What are you doing? To change the narrative, yo.
It's crazy because we're having this conversation right now, and I think what I want to focus on, because I know my learned colleagues and friends come with higher points and greater points and amazing.
Girl, your points are amazing.
But okay, thank you. But I think the first thing that I'm going to say is I think ultimately it starts with how you feel about yourself, how you carry yourself. So I've also gone through the journey of learning to love myself more, learning to as much as I'm not denying my privileges as a light-skinned person, but I have also battled my own insecurities over the years. You know what I'm saying?
People make it seem like when you're perfect.
like, oh, you
What
know,
could you even look
I know, honey. I feel like I feel like I could lose some weight. I feel like I could do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm loving myself in my skin, and I'm loving my blackness. I'm loving everything. I was telling the ladies now that I was inspired to cut my hair as a result of this new, not necessarily newfound, but like constantly evolving self-love. In that, like, I just want to be unapologetically myself and just feel free in my most natural form and be beautiful in it, you know, not even try to change anything about it or amplify something that might make me look more exotic, whatever the case may be, you know. So I think starting with yourself and starting with how you carry and feel about yourself, then I think the message can also be heard better if you are to impart, you know, what you feel, and the whole point of black love, self-love, and anti-colorism, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's a beautiful one.
I think what I can do moving forward is relay the message that we've established today to young children, especially young black boys. Because obviously colorism affects us. I'm not discrediting the young black girls, I was that young black girl. But I think the reflection of the self-hate that we get from the black boys really hurts, and it really, like, if we can start from young and show them that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with being with a black girl. Don't say mean things to your sister who is dark-skinned. You know, don't reflect your self-hate, and learn that you are beautiful and she's beautiful. And you guys can be together, you know, like, don't aspire to move away from the whiteness or go get yourself a Latin chick or go, you know. I think if they can really learn from a young age, especially young black boys, we ignore them so much.
If they can learn to love themselves, because
Love
like
themselves.
it is them reflecting their insecurities.
Yes, yes.
I totally agree with you.
Because it is an it's an internalized racism.
Exactly. And I absolutely agree with you 100%. And that's exactly what I do with my baby brothers. You know, they expose something different, and it's almost like when you're like an athlete and you're academics and you're a prefect, the first thing you do is get a white chick, you know, because now you're a better black person, so now you can get just a little bit of life, you know. Like I remember in Gross, they were doing that whole thing, the hierarchy. If you are a great black guy, okay, now you can afford to be with a colored girl or a white girl, you know. And then if you're not like a great white person, then you can be with a black girl.
You know, on Greenwich, sorry to interrupt. They were talking about how on Tinder, but I mean how on Tinder black women are actually the people that get the least likes.
Wow.
And even from black men, and
isn't that crazy?
And what they were saying was, I totally agree with you. That thing always comes from inside, because sometimes we might project the fact that, okay, maybe I can go get lighter skin, maybe I can get this type of hair. We project it in how we look. Guys internalize that, and they project it via their choices in women. You know, because I remember when I was putting on makeup this one day, my little brother, and he's dark skinned, and he came to me. He said, I think it's gay. And he's dark skinned, but he's very conscious of how he looks, right? When I'm putting on makeup, he always comes and checks what I'm doing. And then he's looking at me putting on like foundation and stuff. Then he tries putting it on. And I'm like, why are you doing this? This is not your color. I'll get you your foundation. But it was just like, dude, he's like, Mom, am I beautiful? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, because I'm so dark. You know, and it starts when you're young, you know, like, am I good enough? And because you didn't really acknowledge the fact that, hey, you are good enough, then you start saying, anything that looks like me, I don't want none of that, because you remind me of me. And that's where the problem comes from. And then when we're out, when you're out in the cities, when you're out in Rocket, whatever, that guy, he didn't deal with that little issue. Now it's like, I don't really want me. Call me, how are you, you know, type of thing. And then you're always drawn to that. I mean, yes, you can have your own preference, but a lot of times it comes from that.
And the sad thing is people don't even realize that.
That's the thing.
I think it's also just important to be very conscious of the conversations, especially like in our like group of friends, you know, especially when you're speaking about beauty tips, beauty, you know, and all of those things. It's very important that we're very conscious of the things we say, because sometimes it's not like you're saying it intentionally, you know, but to say, no, get a lighter shade of foundation, or try this, or make you look lighter, or do this, drink a lot of water, stay indoors, you'll gain complexion. So you know,
what does gaining conviction even mean?
exactly. We must be very aware.
Yeah,
we must
of
be
just your everyday.
Yeah, you know, we must be very aware of what we say to, you know, the people around us, and especially to even our younger brothers and our younger sisters. And as she's saying, every day when I wake up now, it's like, you know, it's loving yourself even more. I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I'm okay with who I am, really, you know, like I'm really okay with who I am. If I want to
How did you get there?
gain now, it's fine. I don't care. If I'm a little bit darker now, it's okay, because essentially, you know, the person's going to look at you tomorrow. They might not even remember what you look like.
How did you get to
You
the
know,
point where you're so comfortable?
It's your. That's a difficult question. It's a difficult question. It's a series. It's like a series of like transitions. You don't get there, you know, through one day. It's a moment of waking up and saying, no, I want to accept myself. Then it's taking 10 steps back and saying, no, actually, why am I saying this?
It's an evolving thing.
Yes, you know, why am I saying this? I was better off that way. No, I need to do this. I need to do this to look beautiful. And just, you know, it's I don't want to say it's telling yourself, but it's going through the motions that you need to go through. If you need to, you know, be at that moment where you're just like, ah, man, I really don't know who I am today. Go through that motions.
Yeah.
Constantly discover yourself. Like constantly,
so
you know, like that's what I'm saying. Even me, I'm not saying I'm at that point. It's not like a definitive point to say like I'm dead.
Exactly.
You know, it continues. Tomorrow there might be something else that bothers me, and I still have to conquer that. You know, so it's just a constant.
I think for me, it's just an intersectionality of everything that you guys have spoken about. You know, it's realizing my privileges. But one thing I'm learning to do is I'm learning to sit different parts of me at the table and like accept all of them. You know, so I always make this analogy of like, say, you are all me right now. Like, you are my privilege and you have a seat at the table, because Tando doesn't have to be perfect. Tando doesn't have to not have privilege in order to be good. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, so I've been sitting sort of all the parts of me down. And the reason why I think it's so important for me to understand all the things that affect me is because the next generation that I raise needs to, they will feed off how I am more than what I say. So even just like in little things, like for example, I'll make an example, sorry to put you on the spot, but like, you know, when you said, oh, my learned colleagues will like say something more, whatever, better. We often do that as women as well. We talk ourselves down. And why are we doing that? Because I'm going to criticize myself so that when the next person does it, it doesn't hurt as much of a blow. You understand? And then it becomes a thing of like, okay, with learning to accept like every inch of me. And the reason why that is so important is because when you fake it till you make it, or when you sort of like go and with the motions and you're like, eventually I'll get to self-love, you don't realize that you operate from a place of lack. You're always going to be operating from a place of lack. Like, you have to learn to accept you completely as you are. And I think in me doing that, like if I'm accepting that I'm beautiful without makeup, if I'm accepting that I'm beautiful with my afro, if I'm accepting that I'm beautiful even if I want to put on a weave or with makeup, like any transition of me, like even if I'm fat, I'm beautiful. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that just because I want to become smaller, like that's going to be me at my most beautiful. I'm beautiful right now. That's just a preferred body I prefer to move in. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I prefer to navigate my life through that body. So that's kind of like where I'm at. And I think once I do that, my light of accepting myself, I'm going to, because I've taught myself those things in my everyday life, my actions, I don't know how to explain it, but they're going to be such that my kids will know that like you have to accept yourself in whatever skin tone you are. If my husband is dark and my kids come out dark, it's not going to be a thing in our family because everyone accepts themselves exactly as we are. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to, and I'm trying to teach other people to do the same. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it just.
I think it's just it's difficult when you say it's my preferred when the state that you're in is not your preferred. For example, if I'm a dark-skinned girl, it's difficult to get to a point where you're like, okay, no, I want to move in this way because this is how I prefer it. It's difficult to accept that.
To feel confident.
Exactly.
Today,
I think that's the biggest issue. I think the fact that you have to accept is great. Sometimes, say you are not privileged, you have to accept that, okay, I'm not privileged, you know. But it's also different when you are in a state of privilege and you're like, this is what I prefer, whereby where you are at isn't your preference, it's just something you can't change, especially when it comes to skin tone. Maybe weight can fluctuate.
But with skin tone, isn't what you're trying to get to beauty? So your preferred state is feeling beautiful.
I'm agreeing with what you're saying in the fact that it's hard to.
I hear what you're saying.
Say this is
How
my
will I feel?
preferred.
How will I change how I move if what I see is still the same?
And
Okay,
not
so
my
it's like-
preferred
And it's not
state.
what I want.
Let me-
I know that I should be better.
Yeah, and I know that I should love myself. I should
know I
love
should
my
love
thick
myself.
thighs, but I don't want my
But
thick
then when you wake
thighs.
up,
And that's the thing for me to want
I hear
it.
what
I
you're
don't
saying.
want it, and it can't be my preferred because I don't.
But
enjoy
you-
this
but you-
smaller, you do. But
That's
for you
true.
to be like, okay, you know what, Bongi, I'm beautiful the way I am. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I have to accept it. But is it my preferred state? No, I'm gonna.
So you actually have to get to the point
No.
where you don't want anything
Exactly,
else.
that's the thing.
If you still want something else, then
It's not-
subconsciously
it's
you'll
not
feel
my
like,
preferred, it's just
okay,
I
when
can't
I'm
do anything
there,
about it.
I'll feel like this.
But isn't it not your preferred state because you don't feel beautiful in that state? Like what I'm trying to explain is that, do you not think that the reason why your preferred state would be to be lighter is because you want to feel beautiful? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, I think
That makes
we
sense.
always need to get to the root of everything. So if you are saying that you don't want to wake up in dark skin, why is that? Maybe because you don't believe your dark skin is beautiful. So the state that you're trying to get to is beautiful. So what you need to work on is how do you get to accepting yourself as you are now, and how do you get to feeling beautiful in your own skin? I don't know if that makes sense.
I know
It makes sense. What you're saying
'Cause
does
that's the
make
core.
sense. What you're saying does make sense. We need to get to a point of acceptance for it to be my preferred. But it's hard for it to be my preferred if I haven't gotten to a state of acceptance. And every single time I wake up and the media is telling me this, the media is telling me to be skinny, and the media is
taking
telling
10 steps back.
Exactly.
You do a good
It's-
week, then
it's-
somebody
it's-
says
I would prefer, honestly, today, if they say have white privilege, I would say bring it on. My preference. I love being black. No, I love being black. Everybody like us. But if they say I'm gonna give you white privilege, bye.
For
I'll
real.
put that, but I want that white privilege. The white privilege is my preferred state.
Not the
Not to be
whiteness,
white.
the privilege, yeah.
The white privilege.
Yeah.
The white privilege is my preferred state.
Yeah.
And for me to get to being comfortable and for me to being in a boardroom or whatever, yeah, I have to fight a lot of battles. I have to accept it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't be white. I can't get the white wealth. Is my state the preferred one? I wouldn't mind not being judged according to my blackness. Although I'm black and I love it, I wouldn't mind not having to work so hard at the gym, you know, because my preferred state is having just, you know, a better, healthier body. My preferred state is having better skin. But when it comes to something that you can't change, it's not necessarily my preferred state. It's just my accepting state.
I hear what you're saying.
And I hear what
you're saying. It's
I
just
get
so
you.
hard.
And it's very
It's
so
hard
difficult.
to get to.
It's
And
difficult.
because you can always get taken steps back. That's why
I also get what you're saying. It's just
almost impossible.
I was
to
wrong
get
about
to
tasting.
it.
No. And I completely hear it, but I also think it's so important to highlight that we can get there. And it's not to say that it's not difficult, but I think when you don't take 10 steps back is when your identity is completely formed by who you are. And the reason why I say that is because then whatever the media is selling, whatever, it won't affect you necessarily. Why do I say that? Because I think, like, for example, I was watching something that Denzel was saying, and he was talking about how people always ask him why he's a great actor, or how he became a great actor. And he says he learned to accept his oppression as his power. So he said,
I was oppressed, but that meant I had to work a lot harder. And working a lot harder has made me one of the best actors of all time. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, but I hear that. But I also hear that it's very difficult to do that, and we shouldn't have to do that. But my point that I'm trying to explain is that I think too much of the time we hide our feelings and we want to like just gloss over them, whereas we need to work back and figure out like, when did the self-hate start? Like, when did you start feeling not great? And then you sit on that for a week, have a conversation about that, like, that really sucked, you know what I'm saying? Work through that, move on, go to the next scenario. What's the next scenario that affected me really badly? Work through that. Like, constantly work through all the things that have hurt you, because I think because you've glossed over them so much,
you don't know what the
still
root
hold
of your
power
issue is, and
over
you just act,
Yes.
and you don't even know that I'm lashing out
Because-
to light-skinned girls because that one guy made fun of me in second
Exactly.
grade, and now that's why I just.
That's why I hate.
I get what you're saying.
Because-
I get what you're saying. It's like, I want the summer body, but I don't want to do the work. In like I would prefer to
Yes.
be like this.
Yeah.
But you know, there's
But
so
even
many
then, the summer body
issues
has to come
from within to say, okay,
it
you know
has
what?
to be like, I actually want
With
a
my
summer body.
cellulite.
I don't like fat rolls because of this. Not because
Because
in the
someone told me
media it looks
it's
what
wrong.
exactly.
It's
It
not
looks
acceptable.
wrong.
I'm doing it for my
It's
health.
not- Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, certain people
Instagram health.
really love actually being fuller. Like, I've seen women who
I
are
agree.
so comfortable in their fuller body because they understand what it does for their psyche. So it means, I don't know,
I think that conversation, we need to do this for that.
I agree.
Specifically.
I think the last like what are you hoping to leave with people in terms of colorism?
Okay, I'll start with the other one first. What I'm hoping to leave with people is just establishing and appreciating that colorism is real. I think a lot of people dismiss it and be like, but you're so pretty, what do you mean? Or, you know, it's not real, it's just in your head, stop being so crazy, it's not that, it's just a preference, like all those things. But if you look at it, it's actually all rooted in the way that we were psychologically indoctrinated, and that's why we are where we are today. So I think just really understanding that it is real, and I think because a large number of people still dismiss it, that's part of the 10 steps back that we keep taking. We have to pull everyone like, hey, no, what you said was wrong. Hey, what you're doing is wrong. Hey, you're only dating light-skinned girls because you hate yourself. Things like that. Like, you know, I think if we can get to the point where we all appreciate how real it is and the realities that people face without dismissing it, that's a great part of the struggle for me. And representation is very important. Wow, I think it just makes you feel good, you know. It just makes you feel good to see someone that looks like you. Honestly, not even just in TV or on TV.
English.
I'm sorry, it's not my mother tongue.
Yes,
Mother.
it's
not.
Sorry.
It's not my mother tongue. That's one of my things, eh? Anyway, that's one of my things. What was I saying? I went to a wedding the other day. My cousin, who is dark like me, and she was the bride, and it was just so nice to see that, because I won't lie, most of my other cousins and other family members that have gotten married are light skinned. So it was just so nice. It made me feel like, hey girl, you know, your husband's coming. Things like that. You know, I think just in everyday life besides TV, just
Absolutely.
in like wherever you go, if you can see a person that looks like you, I don't even